Okay.
Hey everybody, welcome to the team huddle tonight. We have some special guests for you because we know that you're just sick of Amber and I leading this thing every week. But John Fuller will be starting us off, and then I think his wife is driving home from kids stuff, so she'll be joining him shortly. But I'll turn the time over to John to get us kicking off.
Okay, my name is John Fuller. I'm also a certified health coach, as a few people are. But tonight I just want to talk about a little bit about how I was able to learn how to eat healthy using Take Shape for Life and their weight loss program. So there's a lot of things that I actually learned that, some things I knew before, like I knew before that I should eat 5 to 6 small meals a day. And a lot of people actually have heard that, but very rarely do people actually do that. But I know that when I started eating 5 to 6 small meals a day, it really kind of balanced out my life. Hypoglycemia runs in my family, and so not only did it balance out my blood sugar, it also balanced out my mental state, which was really good too, because then I wasn't so grumpy. I learned that it's important to drink a lot of water. I can't even begin to tell you how many studies I've read now about water and the importance of drinking a lot of water. So 80 ounces of water, I would say at a minimum, but half your weight in ounces is a pretty good general rule for that. Sounds like my wife's just getting home, so she'll probably barge in on this, but we're glad to have her. So it's also a low glycemic plan, and what that does is that just, like I said, balances out the blood sugars, makes sure that you can maintain a steady blood sugar level throughout the entire day. Now, something that I've learned to love is balancing carbs with proteins. And this is something that is very interesting to me because I probably would have gained a lot more weight in my life had I not balanced my carbs and my protein. So here's a little secret for those of you that don't know this. If you decide to have a bowl of ice cream, for example, lots of carbs, balance it out with some protein. And a lot of people might think it's crazy, but I'll eat a piece of string cheese or some cottage cheese or something after I eat my bowl of ice cream. Kind of crazy, but that's helped me maintain my weight now that I do maintain my weight. It's important to eat lean meats and balance that out with some veggies. So lots of servings of veggies. I found out that I wasn't eating nearly enough vegetables in my life before I was introduced to Take Shape for Life. And so that was an important thing that I learned. One of my favorite aspects of getting healthy has been mindfulness and how much our food and our bodies and our minds are all connected. So when we think about what we're doing and the choices we're making, it changes what we put inside of our mouths. It's really interesting how that works. So, you'll be sitting at the store, and I don't know about how many of you have done this, but there will be times I'll literally pick something up, throw it in my shopping cart, and before I leave the store, I will put it back on the shelf. Because I decide as I'm walking through the store, you know what? I don't really want to eat that bag of M&Ms. Actually, that would be my wife. But I really, I don't want to eat, that bag of, that roll of Sweet Tarts.
Okay, Sweet Tarts.
Okay, I don't want to eat those Sweet Tarts. I don't want to eat that bag of chips. I don't want to, there's a lot of things that taste really good. And then conceptually, you're like, oh man, that would be really yummy. But then when you start thinking about what's that going to do for me in my overall health plan, and I realized, you know what, I'm going to put that away. I'm going to put that aside. And that's one of the biggest changes that we've made as a family, because we've been able to teach that to our kids as well, is, hey, what are you putting in your mouth? What are you eating? What is the choice that you're making? And so through Take Shape for Life, those are some of the things that I've been able to learn.
Yeah, and I want to jump off of what John just said because and I was listening out in the other room. Sorry, I was taking care of our baby. But all of the things John said are it's such a great, the Take Shape for Life weight loss plan is so great because it does give a teachable moment for you to learn all of these things that John's been talking about. And you're losing weight fast and efficiently, and you're not losing lean muscle. You're feeling good the whole time. And just like John's a car guy, so a lot of my
we were talking about cars before you came.
I'm sure you were.
Amy and I were talking about her husband's
a lot of my thoughts and stories have to do with cars. So if you buy a really nice sports car and it says next to the fuel gauge, it says, you know, premium fuel only, then do you put regular in it when you go? Did you just drive by any old gas station and put whatever crappy gas? No, you probably, if you know anything about cars, you want to put the best fuel in it. It says it means premium, so I probably should put premium in it. And you know, some people even go farther in optimizing their gas, and they choose like the top, you know, there's the ones with Techron and whatnot, but there's even better fuel out there. So that's how I look at health. And that, you know, while I was losing weight, I was learning how great I felt when I ate the right fuel. And that my car, my body, it works best when I feed it the best fuel I can. So going into complete health optimization rather than just saying, I'm maintaining my weight, I feel great. Yeah, we've maintained our weight for 2 years, 2.5 years. But I really like to look at it as optimizing, that we've optimized our health. We're optimizing our health because it's a continual path forward, and that we're rewarded by feeling great when we feed our bodies the right fuel.
I just want to add one more thing, and then I think we're good with time. But when you lose weight and get to a point that you are at a healthy weight, people are always, I mean, I never do anything ever again that would classify as not good. Well, we follow pretty much an 85-15 rule. If you're eating great 85% of the time, and then you happen to go somewhere and have a meal that's, you know, not on your overall health plan, it doesn't mean that your health is now horrible, that you made one choice to eat something that wasn't the best for you. Guess what? You can turn around and eat 85% of the time great. And like I said, every now and again, have something that's not going to be the best for your health, but you're making a choice, which now you're being mindful about that choice and you're making a decision. Now, once again, I do recommend that for people that are at an optimal weight for themselves or an ideal weight for themselves, not somebody who's trying to actively lose weight. If you're trying to actively lose weight, you know, be very smart. Be very smart about the fuel that you're putting in your body, because like Kat said, you know, you can put Maverick cheap gas in, or you can put, you know, Chevron with Techron premium in there, and your husband's Camaro with 1,200 horsepower is going to run a lot better with that premium
Race
Chevron than
He thinks
it
it's
will
race
with
gas.
He probably does, huh?
Yeah. Hopefully we don't have any Maverick employees on here.
No, right?
Oh, can I add something to that?
Of course.
You know, I've thought about food much like fueling a car for a lot of years now too. And not only do you use premium fuel, but also when your fuel tank is, you know, it says don't top it off, right? There's I don't listen to them, right? I top off every single time until that thing's flowing out on my feet, right? But I don't then open up the trunk of my car and fill up the trunk of my car. I mean, that would literally be junk in the trunk, right? The same thing goes for food. Like we end up feeding us until we've reached the top and it starts flooding over our feet, so to speak. And then we go back and we're like, hey, let's go stick some more junk in the trunk. And and like Dr. Anderson says, he's like, it doesn't matter whether you choose a hamburger or a salad today. It matters what you do day after day after day. So like your 85-15 rule or your 90-10 rule or whatever you choose, it's important to have those limits set for yourself, so that you understand that, hey, when I get to this point, or hey, I've eaten that hamburger for the week, or I went out for ice cream or something like that, that you can say, hey, I already had mine for the week. I already had that. And even better than that, think ahead of the week that you have before you and say, hey, I've got parties coming up this weekend. I'm going to save, I'm not going to have dessert every single night of the week, so that when I get to that party this weekend and I'm already at my healthy weight, that, hey, I can enjoy a bowl of ice cream or a brownie or whatever it is. So just having a really clear plan set out for yourself, so that you're not constantly making decisions. Because when you make your decisions before something happens, it's so much easier to say, hey, I already made that decision.
Think about this too. When the exception to the rule becomes the rule, you have a problem. So if you're always saying, I'll just eat this ice cream this once, and then I'll just eat some Oreos right now, and then the next night, oh, I'll just have a handful of M&Ms. Oh, and then the next night, oh, well, I'll just have this piece of cheesecake. Guess what? Now we have a problem. So when the exception to the rule becomes the rule, then you have a problem. So think about that too, because if the exception to the rule leads you to your health goals, leads you feeling better and making smart choices with your food, you will get to an optimal health place, and you'll feel better about yourself. And being healthy is good and fun and all that stuff. So thank you.
So
we have a problem.
We want to hear from you guys. Maybe something you learned throughout this challenge so far, maybe some successes. Just, we want to hear check-ins. So just go, whoever has stuff to say, raise your hand or unmute yourself and talk.
Things that are going well for you, things you have questions, need help with, anything.
So,
Go, Morgan.
okay, so this last weekend I went to California, and it was my husband's grandparents' 60th wedding anniversary, and I have a really hard time when I'm out with people and making right choices. Now, I still lost 8 pounds, which was great, but when it comes to eating with other people, I don't know how to avoid those bad choices.
Great question, great comment. Here's one of my favorites. You know, when you're in social situations and someone offers you something, you can say, oh, I already had some. Little do they know that you had it 6 months ago. Or, oh, I'm going to get some of that later, which they don't know that you're going to have it 6 months from now. So one of our business coaches and mentors, he always says this, help me out, Amber, with this if I just totally chop it up. You'll care less about what people think about you when you realize how little they actually do. Right? So people will offer you stuff all the time, but really it's just like a social question. It's a social offering and stuff. If you walk away and say, oh, I'm going to grab some later and stuff, or I already had some, whatever, they don't follow you around and make sure that you followed through, right?
Right. And think about your goals before you go. You kind of have an idea about what's going to happen, where you're going to be. You usually kind of have a little bit of a plan and kind of go, whoa, okay, there's going to be cheesecake and I'm going to be tempted. So how am I going to react to this? And maybe take yourself through that situation in your mind and create it the way you want it. So if you mentally create it first the way you want it, then it's a lot easier to go through that and say, oh, okay, when I put this in my head, I said, no, I'm good, thanks. And nobody pushed, nobody prodded, and nobody cared. And sometimes I think, for me, it helps to think, like, my body's allergic to that right now. My body does not feel well if I eat that. Sometimes that's one of my things is like, you know what, I'm good. It doesn't treat my body very well. And people go, oh, okay. Everybody has some kind of allergy out there.
Real quick too, what is it, are you concerned about something that they're going to say to you?
No, it's really hard if you like go out to eat and you want to say, no, I don't want to go to eat there because it's not going to have any options for me, or like they want to go to Burger Place, but it doesn't really have anything in the way of salads or something like that, where you're in a situation, because I can kind of avoid some situations, but when it's like we're all going out to eat and it's Mexican, it's like, well, there's not a lot of options for me that I can choose that are still healthy. So, and my husband's family very much is like, hospitality means food. So, you know, if you're not full, then we're not doing our job to make you feel welcome. And so it's really hard to kind of get out of that.
I'll bet the Yella could offer some insight there. His culture, they don't like food, do they?
We don't like food at all. We just, other than being emotional eaters and we're social eaters as well. 'Cause a lot of times I can go out to eat dinner and then I can get home and then my brother would call me or text me like, hey, let's go out to eat. And I'd be like, oh, okay, let's go out to eat. I just ate, but I'll just go out to eat anyways. But I think it doesn't matter where you go, because you can always still find, grilled chicken or veggies anywhere you go. But it's just making the decision now to decide what you want, because it's easy to tell. Well, it's easier for me to tell anybody, hey, I don't really feel like that, or I'm just gonna eat this. And if they offer me other stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm good, I'll just have this. But it's just deciding now what you want.
I think I can relate to that. I was at a wedding this weekend, and I took my daughter along with me, and all my family, they're realizing that I'm eating healthier, and they're watching what I eat. Well, there was pulled pork sandwiches there, and so you eat a pulled pork sandwich with a bun, right? Well, so me and my daughter, we went and got our food, and we didn't get the bun. We just put the meat on our plate. Well, as we sat down, everybody, of course, looked at our plates to see what we were eating, because, we're getting healthy and they want to know what we're eating. Well, the comment was, oh, you guys didn't get bread. And so the social pressure is there, totally. And my daughter immediately said, oh, don't worry, we eat pizza. We ate pizza last night, So, people watch but what was so nice that we reflected later, that my daughter Kayla said, it was so much nicer, Mom, that you didn't get a bun, because I felt like I couldn't get a bun. So if you set an example, then maybe next time they will feel comfortable, eating healthier also. So it's just like a ripple effect. If you set an example, then maybe next time somebody will eat that way like you did the next time. So just like me and Kayla, maybe next time at that table, they'll say, oh, we don't need a bun, or we'll, so it'll just catch on, and it'll become easier, like it was for me and Kayla, because it is hard when you're the only one eating healthy. And so in the social situation, so just start in your own little world and be an example, and bring your family with you.
Well said, Amy. I mean, what Amy just said is so true. There's all this research that's been done for the last 2 or 3 decades that shows that we become like our 5 closest friends. And so sometimes we have to be the individual that chooses to stop the cycle. But when we stop that cycle, we can affect and change so many people's lives, because if we just keep doing it and keep making those decisions to, hey, leave the bread on the side and let's maintain this healthy weight. And we had pizza last night, so we're not going to have bread 2 days in a row type thing. Just making stronger habits. And like Amy said, people are going to catch on. And Amber and I were having a conversation earlier this afternoon with a business coach, and he said, I promise you, and he's on the program, and he said, I promise you that no one in this world enjoys being overweight. There's too many things associated with overweight, whether it's disease or detrimental to self-esteem or any of our thoughts about ourselves. Nobody enjoys those situations. So when you can show people that, hey, you know what, I'm making some simple choices here that have really helped my life, they're going to start seeing your happiness and your confidence and all these things, and they're going to want that, and they're going to be like, oh, it was just from this person choosing at dinner, what? Not choosing bread had something to do with their increased confidence and self-esteem and all these things? And it does. It also, most of all, I believe that it helps us understand that we can trust ourselves. that we have confidence that we can make a decision and follow through with it. And that's the most powerful thing that I've seen as a coach over 6 years.
Does anyone else have anything they want to share or any comments or questions?
I was going to say one thing real quick is that I think that has a lot to do with just having a really big reason, like why you're doing this. You know, it's kind of like your why instead of the results. Like you can be like, oh, I want to be thinner. Oh, I want this. Like those are some of the results, but why? You know, like, do you want to be thinner because you can have more energy or spend time with your kids or live longer or just, you know what I mean? Like having these big reasons. When I lost my weight 11 years ago, I remember people offering me things at parties and I would just be like, what? Like, don't you realize that I'm getting healthy? I can't even believe you're offering this to me. Like, I would just be like, you are crazy. You know, there's something wrong with your brain right now. I can't even believe it. And when your why is like so strong, like nothing, like you are bulletproof. It doesn't even matter.
I love that, Amber. It's true.
Does that help, Morgan?
Yeah, that's great.
So humble guy.
Yeah, I totally agree with Amber. That's exactly what happened to me. So it wasn't hard once I had my why. So just think about that.
Right. Yeah. The takeaway from that is just, it's interesting that the best investor, like the world's very finest investor.
Yeah. I can't hear. Can you hear him? I love, Bonnie just texted us or messaged this to everyone, but I think we should read it. Or Yella did, sorry. Just messages. If you focus on results, you'll never change. If you focus on change, you'll get results. Jack Dixon said that. And I love that. I think it's true. And I love also what Amber wrote above that is have fun being healthy. You know, if there's things that stress you out, then try and figure out a way to make it fun. That's what I do to make my life work. If I have to go change a poopy diaper and I hate it because I've done it for 12 years and I'm kind of getting sick of it, then I just kind of go, you know what, let's make it funny. And I make them giggle while I'm changing their diaper. And then it's fun for everybody because nobody doesn't like to hear a baby laugh. So just think of different ways, be creative on ways that you can make your journey more fun. I love that.
Yep, that's awesome. Okay, I think we've come to the end of our time unless anybody has any last minute comments or questions or anything. Okay, awesome. Thanks for being on. Oh, Karen, did you have a question?
No, I'm just grateful for this. This is very helpful. Thank you.
Good. Awesome. We're glad to hear that too, because we want to know that what we're doing is helpful. It's been helpful to us, and there's I don't know. There's just nothing greater in life than having something help you, and then being able to turn around and help somebody else with the same thing. So, okay, we appreciate all of you guys for being part of the games, being clients of all of our great health coaches across the country. Chime in our Facebook groups and the health games groups, and share your successes. Share your struggles too, because if you're struggling with something, chances are somebody else is too, and we can all help each other through this great journey of health. So have a great week, and we will see you guys same time, same place next Monday night.
Everybody.
Thanks, everyone.